Back in the book segment tonight, the week in review from the Ingraham angle, how American women as opposed to men see the ISIS threat. According to a Pew poll, there is a difference. The question, do you approve of President Obama's plan to confront ISIS? 62% of men say the plan is okay with them, but only 44% of women say the same thing. Joining us now from Washington, Laura Ingraham. Why the 18-point gap, Laura?
Smart women. Well, look, I think when you look at the polls, Bill, since 1965, Gallup has been tracking the difference between men and women's views on military action. 1965, there was a gender gap about staying in Vietnam, our current efforts in Vietnam. It was 73 to 59. 91, during driving Saddam out of Kuwait, it was 60 men approved, 45 women. Then you go on to several months after 9/11. Should we go after Saddam? It was 80-68. So that gender gap continues to this day and on this new military conflict. Couple things. Number one, I think women tend to be naturally a little bit more, well, they're more like mediators, right? We mediate fights with our kids. We don't really like violent video games, certainly not as much as men. We don't like violent movies as much as men. We kind of, the violence thing for most women is they recoil from it. I think that's part of it. But I also think there's some pragmatism here in this current conflict. I mean, I heard you say earlier that you don't know if Obama has the will to win. I would agree with you. Marsha Blackburn said she doesn't really trust our commander-in-chief. People say they don't trust Hagel, they don't trust Kerry, and they don't trust Obama, but we should go in and follow the non-planned plan. To me, that makes no sense.
Let me just jump in here. I think it's what Ms. Blackburn from Tennessee said. We got to start somewhere. We don't think this is the panacea. We don't think that this is going to bring ISIS down. But we got to get it rolling here. We got to, and there is something to that. But I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Megyn Kelly. Did you see the beheading? Did you watch it?
No, I mean, I watched the beginning of it, but when it cut away,
right. I just, you know, I don't really know anybody who could sit and watch that. Okay, so as I said, my first reaction, and I'm a barbarian, I admit it, is, you know, I just want to take these guys out. I don't care why they did it. I don't care who they are. The fact that they did it and they're putting it on the internet is enough that they should die.
Right.
Was that your first reaction? Think back. The visceral reaction.
I'm more like you probably on this than Megyn's reaction. I mean, I want them all gone. I want them all obliterated. But I also, by the same token, Bill, I want a strong America. And I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to make a mistake with a wrong-headed plan that most military analysts say will lead to a massive escalation.
Policy now. You're out of the Laura Ingraham emotional human being into policy. But that's not what the discussion is about. The discussion is about how men and women process violence.
Yeah, I think women are different. I think you're right. I mean, the gender gap from Gallup on to this Pew survey, Bill, you're right. There is, with the exception of a few times right at the beginning, right after 9/11, there was some convergence, and a few other times there was a convergence basically between men and women involving UN weapons inspectors and UN involvement in Iraq. But most of the time there is this gap. I think women tend to want to mediate.
Okay,
they want people to get together and work it out.
That's the traditional thinking. Now I'm going to ask you a very provocative question.
Oh, good.
Yes. Okay.
Love it.
Do you think that women are capable of the same kind of horrendous cruelty and violence that men are?
Not on the same scale. No, probably not. I mean, I think it's the maternal instinct in part. It's not that women can't do this. Obviously, there are women who want to be jihadis, and there are women who are holding up heads, and women who are, who are committing horrible crimes all over the United States to children, against fellow human beings. I mean, women are capable of evil, yes. But to the extent that we're seeing these massive terrorist actions across the globe, most of them are committed by a certain age male. Most of them happen to be Islamic.
Same thing with crime in the USA, by the way.
Yeah.
All the crime statistics, all violent crime, so heavily male. And I do think you're right. It's the maternal instinct. It's the way God created the different genders.
Yeah, Bill, I can't watch violent movies. I can't watch movies like, remember the old Reservoir Dogs? All my friends in law school were like, oh, you got to see this movie. I cannot go.
Not a big Tarantino fan.
I can't do it. I mean, and
You see,
I
can watch those movies. I can't watch Desperate Housewives. That just drives me crazy.
Bill, I understand you were a big fan of like Beaches. Like you like that movie, right? Like the old Bette Midler movie. You know, like The Notebook. Bill O'Reilly's in the front seat with popcorn. He's eating it. This is awesome.
I wanted Sylvester Stallone to shoot all the people in The Notebook.
Yeah, I like Rambo. Don't get me wrong, but Rambo was great. But I can't do some of the other stuff.
All right, Laura Ingraham, everybody.